All right, you're recording. All right, so what we're making today is we're gonna make a vanilla pastry cream. I'm gonna walk you guys through the steps, and then I will have the recipe online as well. All right, so first in your saucepan, you gotta scoop this a little bit. Saucepan, you're gonna put 1 cup of heavy cream. All right, scrape that out. 1/4 cup of white sugar. Go ahead and get that stove on. You want to start warming this up while you mix up the rest of this. So mix that up. Just let that warm up. Then what I want you guys to do is get your towel. So get a wet towel, okay? You're gonna roll it up like this. And the purpose of this is called a nest. So you're gonna put your bowl right in that nest. Then in the bowl, you're gonna put 1/4 of a liquid measuring cup of water, 1 whole egg, 1 egg yolk, which if you can remember, the way you do this is you crack the egg, open it, and then just move the yolk back and forth in the shell until the white falls off. Okay, put that in. If it breaks, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. 1 more 1/4 cup of white sugar is going to go into your bowl. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch sifted, which we'll do in a second. 1/2 of a teaspoon of vanilla. So 1/2 teaspoon. And then the 2 tablespoons of cornstarch sifted. So what I do is just hold your sifter over the top, flatten it on the side, put that in. You want to do this so it gets any impurities and it gets all those lumps out. Okay. If it has lumps, just use the little spin wheel thing. Okay, set that aside. Now you're gonna whisk this vigorously. Like you want this to be completely blended up. Get all that cornstarch mixed in. And look, the reason you do this nest on the bottom is I got 1 hand. I don't need to hold this, and you'll see why in a second. All right, that's nice and blended. Go back, turn your sugar and cream up until it starts to boil. You don't want to let this sit. Don't leave it unattended because it will boil over. You basically just want to, make sure you get in there. You basically want this to come up to a slight simmer. So you'll start to see the bubbles on the side. You'll feel that the sugar has moved into like a liquid state, like it's going to dissolve in that heavy cream. Okay, keep stirring. I got the heat on about medium high, and you're going to start to smell it. It's going to smell pretty good, kind of fragrant. And then the second you see little bubbles come up the sides and it start to steam, it's probably hot enough. And what we're going to do is we're going to temper that into this egg mix, which means you're going to add it slowly to bring this cold liquid up to a hot liquid. All right. You don't want to dump the hot cream in here because it'll cook the eggs and make them curdle. Not curdle, it'll cook the eggs and it'll turn to basically scrambled eggs. All right, so this is getting hot. So you see the bubbles coming around the edge. See it heating up. That means it's getting up to temperature. This does not need to be boiling, and don't cook this down. Some students left it on too long and pretty much made caramel. You just want to heat this up. All right, so that is bubbling. Use your oven mitt. Now, mix this again. Start getting it nice and whisked together. Just add a little bit of that cream, not a lot. Add it real slow, like a slow drizzle. Just a little bit at a time. Incorporate in there, keep whisking. Keep whisking, stir it in. Now this is bringing it up to temperature really slowly. All right, Now, once that's completely mixed, you're gonna dump that back in your pot. Get it all out. Okay, you're done with this. Now, you wanna keep mixing this, okay? Keep your heat on medium-high. I'm gonna move this over a little bit. Keep your heat on medium-high, but don't stop whisking this, because if you get clumped up cornstarch in here, it's gonna have this big solid mass, and then you'll have like a liquid mass on one side. So you wanna make sure it's completely incorporated. And this will congeal, this will get really thick really fast. Once it does, shut it off. Don't keep cooking this. And the last thing we're gonna do is finish this with the final liaison of cold butter, okay? And it's about 2 ounces of cold butter. All right. And if you smell a little bit like caramel cooking, basically when you go to pour this, some will probably leak down to the bottom, like it'll spill over the side. So when you put it back on the heat, you're gonna smell it, but you're not burning the bottom of this, okay? Just keep moving it. Don't stop. Do not walk away from this, because it'll burn pretty quick. All right. And you're gonna feel it. It's gonna start to get this foamy top when it gets up to temperature. And then it's gonna go from foamy to thick. And it's gonna look, you're basically making vanilla pudding. All right. Oh, it's getting there. But yeah, like I said, don't stop. You can see it starting to thicken. That's the cornstarch thickening up. All right, and you're there. See how thick that got? See how I pull this up and it stays? Now the last thing you do is you take your cold butter, put the cold butter in, stir that in till you can't see the butter anymore. Do not put it back on the heat, okay? This is gonna cool down from here. All right, that's what you're looking for. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in this cup. Put it in the deli cup I gave you. Okay, should be nice and smooth. Put that in here. Sorry, that had my water in it. Now just put this into the cup. And you're gonna let this sit out. I put ours in an ice bath, so it's like a bath of water, or ice water, to cool it down. This will get really thick. And then, if it has a little color to it, that's not a bad thing. It's basically, you guys have aluminum pans. Aluminum reacts a lot of times with the eggs for some reason, so don't worry about it. But this is what you look like, nice and thick. Let this cool down. But once it's cold, put it in the fridge, but make sure you cover it with the lid. You can also put a piece of plastic wrap like down in there once it's cooled down to keep it from getting like a skin on the top. But as long as it's cooled down, just put it in the fridge, cover it, and tomorrow we'll take it out and I'll show you how to make the final dish.